Okay, so I have some more news regarding the sorry, pathetic excuse for a political party, the Democrats. So this is an article from The Hill. Title of the article is the following: Republicans hold largest edge in early midterm vote preferences in 40 years. So if you're unaware, a plethora of new polls have been coming out, and they're still coming out as of this moment, regarding the trend towards voting for the Republicans in the upcoming midterms and presidential elections. And we've been seeing this stir up, this sway towards the opposite political party ever since the Democrats were basically put in office. Because ever since they gained majorities in both the House and the Senate, and they took the presidency, they've been governing in typical Democratic fashion, which is entirely destructive. And I mean, they're not improving people's lives, and the people feel it, and they're not doing the kinds of things that they said they would do, which is how they got voted in the first place. So this article from The Hill details the following: Republicans are in the best position to retake seats in Congress during midterm elections in 4 decades, according to a new poll. An ABC News/Washington Post poll published Sunday found if midterm elections were held now, 51% of all registered voters say they would vote for a Republican in their congressional district, as opposed to 41% who said they would go with a Democrat. That figure represents the largest lead for the GOP in the 110 polls conducted by the two news organizations since 1981, ABC noted. It also represents the only second time since 1981 Republicans have held a statistical advantage in that category. The same poll found 62% of Americans said the Democratic Party is out of touch. They are with the concerns of most citizens, compared to 58% who said the same of Republicans. A total of 63% of all respondents indicated they would support President Biden's newly passed $1 trillion infrastructure bill, and another 58% indicated support for the largest social spending packages Democrats are working to pass in Congress. Biden's performance also reached a new low of 41%, according to the poll. Republicans were emboldened about their chances at reclaiming a majority in the Senate and taking back House seats following a key win by Republican Glenn Youngkin in the Virginia governor's race and close call of losing blue state New Jersey. One of the key factors in the poll was the economy, in which 70% of respondents said the economy was in a bad shape, with 55% expressing disappointment in Biden's economic performance. This is absolutely astounding. Look, man, 2022, 2024 is going to be a bloodbath. It is. So if you can harken back, in 2010, the Tea Party wave, the Democrats got destroyed in the midterms because, just like Joe Biden's doing now, Barack Obama inherited not a really good situation, and he and his Democrats did not rise to the occasion to combat the terrible situation that they came into, and they did what the Democrats are doing now, and they got destroyed. You know, the people thought they were electing a new FDR. They thought they were electing change in Barack Obama back in 2008. And what they actually did was elect Wall Street's best friend, you know, the rich, the donor class's best friend, their biggest ally in Barack Obama. And he delivered for them. And he didn't deliver for the American people. And people wonder how we got Donald Trump. Look, man, the Republicans have a 10-point lead currently. And the Democrats are actually in a fucked up position because they didn't pass any voting reform, and they're not. So they're going to have to win by at least, I believe it's like 5 or 6 points to keep what they have now. You know, to not even increase it, but to keep what they have now. And I mean, it just shows you this is what happens when you neglect the people. This is what happens when you don't, you know, enact the kind of policies and legislation that you ran on, which is why people voted for you. We're seeing right now that $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill got destroyed the fucking back. It was actually something decent. Now it's a pencil sharpener, a couple sheets of paper, and a donut, and they're trying to pass it off to you as something great. They were on CNN, like I think it was yesterday or the day before. I believe it was yesterday, in fact. You know, the signing of that new $1 trillion infrastructure bill, which is essentially a privatization bill. It's a corporate giveaway, and they're trying to push it to the American people and spin it like this is great for you, when in reality, it's not going to vastly change the state of the economy. It's not going to vastly improve the majority of lives in this country, and it's only going to get worse from there. They are their own biggest enemy. They defeat themselves, and they're the best at it. It's honestly amazing to me. Donald Trump is pretty much a shoo-in at this point. I mean, the writing's on the wall. You see it. And I mean, he has said everything but he's going to run again. but we know that's the case. Look, man, he was president for 4 years. And by the way, a lot of people talk about Biden's age, and he's incredibly old. He's a skeleton. Donald Trump's not the youngest guy around. No, he's not. He's almost as old as Biden is, and he's not in great shape and all the rest of it. But that's not what this is about. That man was president for 4 years. His biggest legislative accomplishment was passing a tax cut for the rich, where I believe it was 83% of the benefits went to the top 1%. That's absolutely amazing. He outsourced more jobs than the previous president, even after he campaigned on saying that he was going to bring the jobs back. He kept the wars going. He didn't end a single war like he said he was going to do. He didn't raise the federal minimum wage. People suffered. He likes to boast about his economy and the fact that he created jobs. They don't tell you that those jobs are low-paying jobs where workers are earning poverty wages. We know what it's like under his style of governing, yet the Democrats are so terrible, the people don't care and they just want something else, even if they have to go back to that. I mean, wow. I mean, I can't, what else do you say about this? And, you know, it's partly what they want, they being the Democrats. They want the status quo. They don't want life to vastly change and improve for the mass of people because, you know, they would rather have another Trump in office, another terrible Republican that wants to push us further towards a theocracy, that wants to invade, whether it be Venezuela or Iran or, you know, do whatever the fuck, take away more of your freedoms like they do on the subject of abortion, than have an actual progressive in there that's fighting for progressive policies, that wants to give people health care, higher wages, end the wars, and all the rest of it. You know, it's incredibly indicative because they're beholden to their corporate interests and their donors and the rich, and they have to toe the line for them, and the massive people suffer as a result of it. Their lives aren't going to change if Donald Trump gets reelected. 61% of voters don't want to see Biden run again in 2024. And if he doesn't run, who's going to run? Kamala, Mayor Pete. I mean, these are some of the names that's being floated in Democratic Party circles. And I hate to tell you, none of those people have a chance at beating anybody. They're lackluster. They're corporatist. They're not for what the people are for. They're absolutely terrible. They have no charisma. I mean, look, this chance that we had, this moment to pass that $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill in its entirety, not the watered down bullshit version, was honestly the last chance of passing monumental legislation for probably a decade, because who knows how long the Republicans are going to be in power when they do grab power. I mean, who knows, man? So the Democrats really fucked it up this time, and they only have themselves to blame.